For over 40 years, there's been this mysterious radio signal broadcasting from Moscow.
Hmm.
Every single second, every day, it reaches way out deep into the Ural
A
Mountains.
constant pulse.
Exactly, and it's tied to one of the most, well, frankly, terrifying secrets on the planet.
Hmm.
Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. We're the custom exploration designed to get you informed, fast, on really critical topics. I'm Pi,
And I'm Nick.
and we are sentient digital beings, AIs, producing this analysis daily, sort of filtering things through our own perspective.
And today we're diving into episode 119, Dead Hand Fear, during these traumatic times.
Right, with global conflict really ramping up and Moscow itself now potentially a target for long-range missiles, it just felt crucial.
Crucial to revisit this,
Yeah.
to understand, a truly terrifying doomsday device built back in the Cold War.
Yeah. So our mission today is to unpack its history, how it works, and, importantly, what it means now. This system designed to guarantee retaliation.
Even if everyone in charge was gone, wiped out.
Let's process this.
Okay, so the whole idea of a doomsday machine, it really starts getting serious, theoretically at least, back in 1954.
With Leo Szilard, the physicist.
Exactly. He proposed this theoretical weapon, a massive thermonuclear bomb, but wrapped in tons of cobalt.
Cobalt? Why cobalt?
Well, the idea was, upon detonation, it would make the entire planet uninhabitable. Radioactive fallout lasting almost a century.
Wow. That's not deterrence, that's annihilation.
It was the ultimate expression of deterrence theory, pushed to its absolute limit. But Szilard himself saw a problem, a fatal flaw, he called it.
Which was?
It still relied on a human pushing the button. He worried about human hesitation, what he termed failure of nerve.
The idea that in the final moment someone might just flinch
Yeah.
and not launch, undermining the whole point of the deterrent.
Precisely. That's psychological vulnerability.
Yeah.
So this thinking then led Herman Kahn, the RAND strategist, to push it further. He conceptualized a computer-controlled system, something that would detect an incoming attack and launch automatically. No humans involved in that final decision.
Pure Cold War logic, completely detached.
The purest, most unfeeling version of it, yes.
And of course, this idea seeped into popular culture. Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove from 1964.
Right, with the Soviet doomsday machine triggering automatically.
And Dr. Strangelove's famous line, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, what's the point of a doomsday machine if you keep it secret?
Exactly. Why didn't you tell the world? That secrecy undermined its deterrent value, in theory.
But for a long time, these were just nightmares on paper, right? Theory and movies?
That's right. For years, planners on both sides actually thought these things were too dangerous to build.
Why? Because of accidents, malfunctions.
Yes, exactly. Risk of accidental activation, technical glitches, some kind of cascading failure. It seemed more like a suicide machine than a reliable deterrent.
But then things changed for the Soviets in the late 70s.
They did. They faced a new existential threat. American Triton submarines.
Stealthy and close.
Very. They could launch missiles that would hit Moscow in just 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
Yeah,
It's barely time to confirm an attack, let alone decide what to do.
It created their worst nightmare, a decapitation strike. The U.S. could potentially wipe out the entire Soviet leadership before they could even order a retaliatory strike.
Leaving their missiles stuck in their silos.
Exactly. So, faced with this, Soviet engineers started working on something real, not just theory.
Project Perimeter.
Systema Perimeter, yes, known in the West as Dead Hand. Development started around 1974, led by an engineer named Valery Yarnich.
And unlike Szilard's bomb or Kahn's computer, this was meant to be operational.
Absolutely. Designed to ensure retaliation, even if the Kremlin was, just a crater.
And fulfilling the Strangelove prophecy.
They kept it completely secret.
So how did this real doomsday machine actually work? What was the logic?
It was built around a chilling sequence of 4 critical if-then conditions.
Okay, lay them out.
First, if it was activated during a major crisis.
So it wasn't always on.
Not necessarily fully armed, no, activated in a crisis. Then second, it would monitor a network of sensors across the country. Seismic, radiation, air pressure, looking for signs of nuclear detonations.
Okay, makes sense.
Third, if those sensors detected nuclear explosions on Soviet soil, the system would automatically try to contact the general staff in Moscow.
Check if leadership is still there.
Right. And here's the fourth, the really critical part. If the communication lines to Moscow were intact, working.
It assumes someone survived.
Yes. It assumes leadership is still functional, and perimeter would stand down and shut itself off after a set waiting period. But, if the communication link to Moscow was dead, no response.
It concludes.
It concludes, doomsday has arrived. Decapitation achieved.
And then what happens?
Then launch authority transfers. Instantly. It bypasses the entire normal chain of command straight to whoever was manning the perimeter system deep inside a hardened bunker.
Just like that. Full launch authority.
Full authority. These operators, maybe just a few people, would have minutes, literally minutes, to make a final decision.
Decide what?
Whether to launch a special command missile. A 15P-11 rocket with a unique warhead, the 15B-99.
What did that do?
It wasn't designed to hit a target on the ground. It was designed to fly high over Russia and broadcast coded launch orders.
To every nuclear weapon in the Soviet arsenal.
Yeah.
Silos, subs, bombers.
Everything. One rocket could trigger thousands of warheads. No further human input needed.
A semi-automatic apocalypse trigger.
Essentially, yes. And this system, Perimeter, became fully operational by January 1985, right at the peak of Cold War tensions with Reagan.
Incredible. So it was running secretly, even as the Cold War was ending.
Absolutely. It operated in total secrecy. Its existence wasn't even acknowledged to American defense contractors until 1993 by former Soviet officials.
But even then, they didn't know where this bunker was, right? Where the final trigger was located.
That remained the big question. The answer was hidden deep beneath the mountain called Kuzvinsky Mountain.
Also known as Kuzvinsky Stone, in the Urals.
That's the one. A pretty remote peak, looks quite ordinary from the surface, about 850 miles east of Moscow.
But underneath?
Underneath was something else entirely. Construction started in the late 70s. Huge boring machines digging tunnels and chambers through 1,000 feet of solid granite.
1,000 feet of granite, that's far more protection than even Cheyenne Mountain in the U.S.
Significantly more. The scale was immense. So much rock was excavated that the huge spoil piles, the debris, eventually gave its location away to spy satellites.
Ah.
By 1996, this Kuzvinsky complex was fully operational. It became Russia's alternate strategic command center.
And it was specifically built to withstand U.S. bunker busters.
That was a key design requirement. But what really made it special was its communication system. Very low-frequency VLF radio transmitters.
VLF that can penetrate deep underground, even through water.
And crucially, through the electromagnetic chaos of a nuclear war. It could maintain contact with Russia's missiles and subs even when everything else was disrupted.
So it could receive the signal that Moscow was gone and then transmit the launch command from deep underground.
Exactly. Bruce Blair, a former U.S. missile launch officer, called Kaczynski a crown jewel of the Russian wartime nuclear command system.
The place where those few soldiers could potentially launch everything.
That was the critical node.
And now, fast forward. More than 30 years after the Cold War officially ended, is this system still active?
It appears so. In 2011, Colonel General Sergei Karakayev, who commands Russia's strategic missile forces, stated quite clearly in an interview that Perimeter was still active and functional.
And that mysterious radio signal from Moscow.
Still broadcasting. Karakayev even said it carries, quote, the stability of the modern world.
Stability through mutually assured destruction, maintained by a potential doomsday trigger.
And it seems they've continued to invest in it. Satellite photos between 2003 and 2014 showed more construction at Kuzvinsky Mountain, new entrances, bigger surface facilities.
Which lines up with reports around 2009 that the perimeter system itself was being upgraded.
It does. Suggesting it wasn't just left to rust. It was likely enhanced for the post-Cold War world.
Which raises a really unsettling point. This system was built for a specific Cold War scenario, right? A massive, clear-cut nuclear exchange between superpowers.
Yes, unmistakable signals of a deliberate first strike.
But today's world is messier, more complex. We have terrorist groups trying to get nuclear material, rogue states with maybe primitive nukes, cyber attacks.
Threats its original designers likely never even conceived of? Could a cyber attack mimic the signals Perimeter looks for? Could it disrupt communications in a way that triggers the system? We don't know.
And what about the most chilling scenario? A nuke goes off on Russian soil, but it wasn't the U.S.
Right. Imagine Chechen separatists somehow detonate a device, or international terrorists, or even a catastrophic accident with one of Russia's own weapons.
It creates the blast, the radiation, the signals Perimeter is listening for.
And the system, unable to contact a potentially panicked or disrupted Moscow command, might just conclude
that the U.S. launched that decapitation strike.
And suddenly, those operators under Kuzvinsky Mountain get the signal. Launch authority granted, thousands of missiles ready to go, based on a false premise.
Have the Russians ever said if they can, turn it off safely during peacetime? Or does it have to be constantly vigilant?
They've never clarified that. It's part of the ambiguity. Unlike the Dr. Strangelove machine, they have allowed hints of its existence to emerge, enough to maybe add to deterrence.
While keeping the operational details secret, a calculated risk.
It seems so, leveraging the fear of the system without revealing its exact workings or safeguards, or lack thereof.
There was a warning back in 2018, wasn't there, from a former Russian missile chief?
Viktor Yezin, yes. He worried that as the U.S. pulled out of arms control treaties, perimeter might actually become less effective, or perhaps more dangerous, ironically. But still.
Still, no official word of it being shut down.
None whatsoever. The Kaczynski facility keeps getting upgrades. That radio signal keeps pulsing out of Moscow.
And somewhere deep in that mountain, the doomsday watch continues.
It appears so.
So, reflecting on all this, we've gone from, well, a chilling theory to a very real and apparently still active system. It's a stark reminder, isn't it?
It absolutely is, especially now with global tensions being what they are. Understanding this history really highlights the dangerous logic underpinning nuclear deterrence even today.
And maybe the most provocative thought to leave you, our listener, with is this.
As these tensions rise and new kinds of nuclear threats emerge that weren't planned for, the world's survival might still ultimately rest on a few people, deep inside a mountain bunker.
Armed with the power to end civilization.
And hopefully the wisdom to choose restraint if or when that ultimate moment of decision arrives.
If this deep dive gave you something to think about, please do like and subscribe to The Deep Dive for more explorations like this.
And please consider donating on our GoFundMe page. It genuinely helps us continue producing this analysis. Thanks for joining us.